Hello, hello. Thank you for stopping by. Happy August or whenever you see this. So, lately, I've just decided that I'm just going to start sharing things and making videos and just going forth with whatever's on my mind. So, I decided today to share my monthly core pages because I bullet journal. Though my core pages, honestly, they strictly revolve around my physical and mental health, which isn't a bad thing, but they do. So I don't do cover pages anymore because as an artist, I felt myself pressuring myself to be like, okay, you have to draw this or you have to make this pretty thing. And of course, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I just don't need that pressure on myself. So I have skipped it. What I do is I'll have in the beginning my the title of the month and I'll have a space for like a line a day. It's not so much as it has to strictly be gratitude, even though sometimes it is gratitude. Sometimes it's like my final thought of the day or something I've learned in general or something that stood out to me in scripture. Like it's whatever I feel like. And I think that works better for me than saying you have to write this particular thing for your one line a day. So after that, I have in the bottom left corner a little tracker for sessions. So when I say sessions, these are repetitive tasks that you have to do that there's not really a lot to them. It just takes a lot. For example, I'm migrating my prayer request from Notion into a physical notebook. And it's the same thing really over and over again. It's just it takes a while. It's not something that's done in one sitting. Same thing about me cleaning out a particular email that I have or cleaning up some Google Drive photos. It's like, yeah, they're not complex tasks, but a lot of them have to be done. And so I have this tracker to make sure that I'm at least making progress on that. Because if I don't do it a little by little, not much is going to get done, and I want it to be cleaned up. Similarly, on the right side of my page, I'll have you look under the bottom under these calendars. It's one for Notion notes because I'll say this: I love Notion and I'm excited about Notion, but when I jumped in, I didn't know what I was doing, and so there's stuff everywhere. Eventually, I settled down on Thomas Frank's Second Brain and rearranged it to suit my needs there. So now what I'm doing is going through and deleting things that I don't want and moving things that I need access to into the second brain area. And again, it's one of those, okay, if you don't make steady type of progress, you're not going to do it, which at times has had me scrambling when I need to just be able to hop on Notion and work because I didn't go ahead and start getting things in order. So I'm doing that. I have a little thing for commonplacing, getting info out of my phone that I still need. I just don't need that regularly. So it's like, hey, let's clear space on my phone, keep it in a commonplace. The actual trackers I have up there for the calendars are to track me doing my morning devotional and my evening devotional. Now, this isn't so I can check a box, and this isn't to make sure I'm just forcing myself to get through it. I have these trackers because if I miss a certain amount of days without doing the night devotional, day devotion, or both, for me, that means something is wrong. And I need to stop and go back and reflect like what's going on right now. So it's not to be legalistic and it's not to be condemning. It's just, I know personally with my walk with God, if I'm missing this many devotions, something is going on and I need to stop. And that's why I started tracking it. And I'm glad that I did. It's been very helpful for me to not get into depressive funks because I do experience depression. I also experience anxiety. And so this is usually like kind of a big flag when it's like, hey, are you either experiencing depression very heavily or are you very overwhelmed? Because other than that, I've built a good habit in doing devotion. So there's not another reason for me in this. So it's a tracker for that because you can have trackers, of course, to check boxes on things, but sometimes making trackers to make sure you're following certain life patterns, that good life patterns, is also something that's helpful. So on this next page, I have it's a few of the first steps of tasks of things that I want to try to do this month. I left it mostly blank because I don't want to overwhelm and overload myself, especially like with my health and things. But usually what happens is as I go on, like if I do the first step, I'll, mark it off and then write the second step. Or as things come up, I'll add them to this list. or things, okay, well, that's not going to work this month. I'll migrate it back to like my large task list that I have at the beginning of the quarter. And it's the flexibility is nice. So I have a little bit of structure, but at the same time, it leaves room for flexibility. So that way I can adapt and flow with my health and my energy, which has been a nice game changer for me. Down here, it's a new tracker I have for walking. Um, I actually got a smartwatch for my health, a different one that's focused strictly on health. And this tracker is set up to help with it because I started indoor walking to help with the fact that I have adrenal fatigue. Because, it's health walking is healthy on any level, but when your adrenals are so far down, taking a walk is very, very difficult. Like even in your own backyard sometimes. So it's like, hey, let's do indoor walking. And so I do short indoor walks every night, and that has been improving my energy and my sleep. And so this is my tracker to make sure I'm doing that. Um, I don't force myself if my body is in too bad a state, but if my body's in too bad a state, that means I haven't listened to my body and I haven't done something for it to be in such bad shape now. Which brings to my next page, which is my symptoms tracker. And I know it's like, hey, this is a lot of stuff. Well, I'm here by the grace of God, and I have a lot of health issues going on. So this is what I have here to help me keep track of everything. The top, I just do a dot where my energy is, high energy. I don't need a nap today. I needed a nap that day. I had to sleep most of the day. And then for the rest of it, I just usually have a 1, 2, or 3. One is I experienced this health symptom today. 2 is I experienced it and it was very bothersome. 3 is I had this symptom and it was debilitating. And this help lets me see patterns, and it also lets me help to adjust with making my schedule. Like I know if my physical symptoms down at the bottom, like headaches, neck aches, shoulder aches, arms, like if my muscular system is just out of whack for like a week, that means when I'm planning the next week, I need to do make sure I do a lot of low energy, low movement type of tasks to not aggravate and make it worse. Not to completely sit still, but to like moderate. Or if there's something I usually don't experience quite often and I am, it's like, okay, well, what's going on this week? What's going on these 2 weeks? And I could check my dailies or the food page, which I'm going to show next to see, like, hey, and figure it out. It's a lot easier to track and see what's going on when all of it's together like this. So I know it seems a lot overwhelming, but it's just been easier for me to keep up this way. And this next page is it's my other health page. Like as you see at the top, I have my key. Down here, I have the things I'm doing to keep track of. Like I keep track of my sleep. My watch helps with that. My step goals, it usually tells me like, hey, this is how many steps you kind of want to take today. And that's been working nicely. But I also do physical therapy and strengthening exercises in the morning, wrist exercises, and I do short indoor biking and short indoor walking. And so me seeing all this too is making sure that, hey, you're still taking these steady steps to improve your health, because small steps really gain big momentum when it comes to your health. And so I started where I am, and this tracker is to help me keep up with it. I'll usually do a check, I did it, an X, I didn't do it. A T, I tried to do it, but it didn't work. Like there have been times where I've tried to bike or indoor walk, and my heart rate has shot up to like past 120. And when you have adrenal fatigue, you're not supposed to let it get that high. And so that's when it's like, okay, I tried, but it didn't work. Or if I tried and I'm like, especially at night, because I get dizzy at night, I'll get dizzy and it's like, okay, you tried, but that didn't work. And so you stopped. Or I just flat out skipped it because I looked at how my day was. Because sometimes the family, if we have if we have multiple appointments, like each of us have appointments or different things, and we're out for like 8 hours, coming home and trying to do an indoor walk isn't going to work, because usually by the time we get home, my energy is down. And so the skipped is, hey, let's just be prudent. You don't need to do this today. Because again, the point is to put in regular, consistent effort, so it's not, oh, I don't feel like it. Because sometimes you're just not going to feel like it, and that's just fine. But there's a difference between I'm not going to feel like it versus, oh, this is probably going to make my health much, much worse. And thankfully, I've been paying attention enough and in tune enough to kind of figure out which is which. So I can choose, oh, okay, this is a skip day. And then it's like, no, I know you want to skip, but you shouldn't. And so that's what this tracker is for. Um, this last area that I have is to track what I eat. Now, it tracks what I should not eat and what I should eat. Because at first I was just keeping track of what I should not eat. And it's like, you can't just not eat bad things. You have to make sure you're eating good things. And I don't have like any numbers or things like that. It's just, I usually have just a dot. If I ate it on that day, I have a dot. And again, it's easy to see, hey, you're not supposed to have this thing and you've had it like a whole week or 2 weeks. That's one of those, make sure you're slowing down and be mindful about what you're eating, make sure you're prepping your meals and stuff like that. Or even if it's not necessarily I'm doing too many bad things in a row, sometimes there are certain health symptoms that flare up because of what I eat. And so usually I can see like, hey, I can check the food. It's like, okay, did this particular symptom happen? Was it because of what I ate? And if it wasn't, again, I can go and investigate. And so, and I do have an extra page for like food notes and different things that I discover since it's been kind of tricky finding that balance. And I'll usually fill that in, but now, this is my monthly setup, how it works for me. Now, I normally start backwards at the end of the night during my night routine because I keep track of my food during the day, like on my daily, like the food I eat. I have to eat 2 snacks and stuff like that. I'll keep track of that. So at the end of the night, when I'm wrapping up with expressing my thoughts, etc., I'll come and I'll flip over and I'll fill out the food because a lot of times I don't remember what I've eaten that day, which is why I write it down. I'll fill it out and then I'll flip back and go to health and I'll fill out how I felt that day. If I finished doing the things I needed to do, any health notes from my dailies, although sometimes I do just write it straight here instead of in the daily. I try to keep it in the daily so I can see the context of why something might happen. But this extra space, I'll put in health notes. I'll go ahead and put in, what I felt, energy, etc. And then I'll come back to the beginning page of like, hey, here's where I did the walking because I do it at night. If there's any task that I need to go ahead and add in that I don't want to drop on what I've got, like for my weekly task or anything, I'll come and make sure to check my devotionals or any sessions I need to do, and then write whatever line of the day it is. And that's it. So, and this system has been working very well for me as far as months because I do something different weekly, dailies. I'll probably do a video about that later. But yeah, that's all I wanted to share for now. Thank you for watching so far. If you have any questions or anything, one, if it's about bullet journaling, I don't mind answering questions, but definitely I suggest you look up on YouTube Bullet Journaling by Ryder Carroll since he created the original bullet journal method and start there and then move forward. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything about that or specifically what I've done, please feel free to write it down. And if you do bullet journal, I would love to hear what you have in your monthly core pages because, like I said, I've been doing this since 2020 and it's changed a lot. And this is where I am now, which, side note, that's why I have minimal color and sticker. You can have either a little or a lot, but as long as your bullet journal functions, that's the most important part. But yeah, this is the fruit of over the years and what I need right now. But yeah, I would love to hear what other people have and what they're doing and if it's working well for you. And I hope it's working.